Hello, my friends. I'm back. Happy Sunday. I'm so glad to, be able to talk to you again. Hope you're enjoying the time. And I just have to say that I feel so energized. It's not even funny. And everything is mostly thanks to the stand-up comedy performance that I went to yesterday. I almost didn't go, and finally I'm so glad that I did, because the opening act of there was three comedians, and one of the comedians, she just started by saying, unlike some other comedians, I have a real job and I am a stripper. And I was like so amazed. I felt like that was the best opening comedy line ever. And she made my day, she made my evening. Well, and it seems that she actually was a stripper, but anyway, so the comedy act was just amazing. And then there was this other guy, I think he's Australian, and I forgot the name because they were all new to me. But anyway, so this other guy said that somebody told him to be more flexible, and he joined the yoga class to be more flexible. And then he said, so he was learning different warrior like positions and postures, like warrior 1, warrior 2, warrior 3. And then he said, well, these positions are very like difficult to maintain, but I see really no relevance how they are like representing a warrior. And he's very confused how these positions are going to help him, or anybody else for that matter, to defend Greenland. So anyway, so I had a good time, and hopefully you could have, a good laugh now. So let's talk about compliance. And what I wanted to say is this. Very often when people come to me, they often ask me to solve a problem, and they think this is a compliance problem. But in fact, this could be a time management problem, a project management problem, the fact that you cannot hire the right people problem, the fact that you cannot fire the wrong people problem, the fact that maybe decision-making process in your company isn't efficient and you delay decisions. And in some cases, maybe you don't know how to manage the money and how to select your partners, and why you're choosing partners that are not performing well. Like, there is a whole host of issues. And very often, compliance people find themselves in the middle of this. And they often tell me, and even not just the compliance people, but also the founders, the CEOs, they ask me to really solve the problem. Like, let's make sure we finish this audit, or let's make sure we are able to close this partner, or we need to find a compliance person and make sure that our KPIs for the team and for the functions are clear and people are actually delivering, right? So they seem to be like compliance problems. But if you dig deeper, and I always say, like, so many people don't get to the bottom of things. So if you want to actually solve the problem, you will find yourself in a situation where you need other skills. If I will just tell you, or whoever is like having the issue, like, this is what the law says, it's not very useful because they already know this. They just don't know how to put things together. And that's the point. That's the reason why I am so passionate about saying that compliance professionals need to be knowledgeable and skilled in many other areas to be able to help the company and add value. So it almost doesn't matter if you are from compliance or from finance or from audit or from like the IT team. You need good, like, skilled managers who can put things together and who can listen and who can prioritize and who can see what is the bottleneck actually. Because if you don't, it doesn't matter that you know all the laws, you're not going to be able to move things or solve problems. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. And just the last thing before I go, and that is, why I created the Skool community. Skool, if you don't know, is a platform, and this is supposed to be like a community building platform, something that in the past we used Facebook groups for or Telegram channels for. I felt like these other platforms, they may be great, but they're not offering the same functionality. So what I wanted is to have a place where I can hang out with other compliance professionals and talk not so much about what does this law say or what do we do for DORA, what do we do for MICA. We have other places where we can discuss this. But I wanted to have something like more interactive, and also I wanted to have a place where we talk about not just like how do we prepare for DORA or how do we implement MICA or how do we do this or that. I wanted to talk about the holistic aspects of compliance, meaning what do I do if my manager or my CEO is unrealistic? Or what do I do if the company is onboarding wrong clients, and not necessarily that they're risky, but maybe they are driven by a promotion and they don't want to transact? Or what do we do if we chose the wrong partner? Or what do we do if the best friend of the founder is not very competent, but they're still like number two in the company and they give directions to everybody else? So we have all these problems, potentially, like allegedly, that, I'm not naming anybody else. But my point is that we never work in isolation, and we often face situations where even if you know all the laws, you don't really know what to do. You have to think, you have to talk to other people, you have to, have friends in the company, you need to build consensus, you need to discuss things, and you need to make decisions. And this is what nobody trains compliance people to do. We are told that we have to build a culture, culture of compliance. We have to build a culture of transparency. We have to build a culture of accountability. We have to build a lot of culture. But somehow, for compliance people, what we are told is that this culture is needed. This is super important, and it comes from the top, right? But it doesn't come from the top. That's my problem. And it's not just my problem. Compliance culture comes from a lot of different things. Like what the CEO or founder does is important, but also people around them, the investors, how much money you have, how much time you have, what kind of clients do you serve. Everything else is important too. So the culture is kind of happening. And sometimes you just need good managers who get to the bottom of things and who can suggest good decisions, not necessarily just for the sake of compliance, but for the sake that the business actually makes sense. So anyway, so this, if you are resonating, if you feel like sometimes you want to solve the problem, but it requires you to have the skills that are beyond compliance, and you want somebody to talk to about, come and join our Skool community. The link is in the description below, and I would love for you to join. We're having a kickoff call tomorrow on Monday, February 23rd at 1 p.m. Central European Time, and I would love to see you there. Bye, guys. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.